Welcome, Panther Nation, to this week's edition of the Pregame Show with head coach Chris Lackey. I'm Joe Roberts, and we're doing it again.
Doing it again.
All right, so we've got one game in our belt so far. There was some good, there was some bad, there was some ugly. I know as a head coach, there's always going to be times when you want things to be better. Let's talk about the good from last week.
Good thing, I think the one group that showed up was the offensive line. I thought that they had, as a unit, had a pretty good game. Last year, I thought a lot of times that was our weakness going in, and so I think that's a big positive that we took from it. I mean, we came out in the second half, we were able to just drive it straight down the field and go score, and so I thought that was one of the big things that stood out.
Well, one of the things that I had noticed, number 22, we talked about him, Alex Valtierra, almost 100 rushing yards this week.
Yeah. I mean, I expect him to try to do that almost every week. I mean, if he's at 100, that's about, what I think he can do. He's a special running back. He's strong. He's fast, and he did some good stuff.
One of the things that I didn't see, and I don't know if you guys track this or not, I know we certainly don't do it, yards after contact. It felt like he got hit multiple times, and it took a gang of folks from Cold Spring to bring him down.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, he definitely, he's not easy to bring down, and I think he prides himself on that. I mean, you're going to have to bring more than one and get him wrapped up and run your feet, because if not, he's going to get some extra yards.
Another one of the good or the positives, as it were, that you could pull from this that I thought, Ross and I watching the game, I felt like the defense just did a great job of swarming to people. There was no real individual that kind of stood out. Every time they hit one of those big guys from Cold Spring, it felt like there were 4 or 5 guys.
Yeah, we did a good job swarming the football. I mean, that's one thing that we are always trying to preach is be around the football. If you can have a great effort and a great attitude, that's going to fix a lot of stuff. And I thought the defense did that for the most part. We're always going to be a little undersized, just with the kids that we have this year, and we have a lot of young kids. So it was just trying to find a way to put them in the best situation to be successful. I thought there were some things that I probably could have done differently, also. But really, at the end of the day, it came down to turnovers, I think. And then not be able to get off the field when we needed to get off the field defensively in the second half. You got a safety. That's another plus. We got a young quarterback who made some mistakes, but we're looking to fix it. And I think really, if you take away those turnovers, that's a different ball game. So we're going to try to fix some of those mistakes this week against Concordia Lutheran.
Coach, one of the things that I know it's so tough, the opening kickoff got returned for a touchdown, and a million years ago back when I played, and probably the same amount of time back when you played, what do you tell your guys when the game doesn't start the way that you've got it scripted?
Yeah, I mean, we talk about it like from the get-go. There's always going to be ups and downs. You can't get too high, you can't get too low. You got to know that they're going to make some plays. Obviously, they had some really good athletes, and they had some good strength and size, so they're going to make some plays. Going into that, we knew we didn't want to kick it to the quarterback, the long-haired kid that could run, and most kickoffs we try to kick it out of the back of the end zone, but just happened to be that there was a little bit of wind, and he did not kick it to that kid, but the kid we kicked it to moved out of the way, and the quarterback ran in front of him and got it, and it was just really, I mean, it really wasn't poor coverage on our part. He just happened to get a certain block right at a time. He hit a hole, and he's really fast. So it was a good play by them. But, I mean, it takes the wind out of you a little bit when you start the game. But I think going into it, you always know, and you try to remind your guys that some bad stuff's going to happen. You're not going to be perfect, and it's just you got to rise to the occasion and keep playing. So.
How pumped was Frankie getting his first touchdown of the season?
I don't know how excited he was. Honestly, I think he's pretty frustrated with himself, just from some of the mistakes he made, and kind of uncharacteristic from the scrimmages in practice. But that's just part of the learning process. But I mean, it's always fun when you get your first touchdown on varsity. So
it was nice seeing him come around there, and the snap. and the hold, it was a little bobble on there, and I thought maybe that was going to be a busted play, and he did just a phenomenal job of turning, I guess, nothing into something.
Oh yeah. He runs the ball really well, and so we're not ever really surprised when he can pull some yards off.
Were there any of the young ones, the sophomores? I know we talked about Frankie. Was there anyone that kind of stood out for you, or made a mark or an impression on the staff?
I mean, Cade Carter did a really good job defensive end wise. He's undersized, but he held his ground and was in on some plays. But unfortunately, he's going to be out this week, and we're waiting to see how long he'll be out. But he's one of the young guys that really kind of stood out, I think. All the other ones played like they were young. I mean, to be real honest, I mean, they did some good, did some bad. We need some of our young guys to step up and be a little bit more physical and be a part of the game. So.
All right, Coach, the home opener this week, Concordia Lutheran, close game last year. Of course, it's a whole different crew, it seems like. What are we going to see from Concordia Lutheran?
I mean, the Concordia Lutherans are always a really well-coached football team. Willie Amendola is their head coach, and he's had a lot of experience, championship experience. He's going to be ready. They have a good football team. Offensively, they have a lot of size up front. Their offensive line looks to be very, very big. They have a good size receiver, number 80 on the outside, and the quarterback can throw it. So we're going to try to look for ways to put that into our advantage. But they're good defensively. They fly around. They're sound. But we're going to do the best we can to put our kids in the situation to be successful, and we think we can. So it'll be exciting. We'll see how the first home game goes.
Coach, one of the things I forgot to ask you last week is the athletic fundraiser. Is that still going on?
Yep, I think it's got about a week and a half left. So team funded. So if you get any texts or emails or posts on there, if you feel the need, if you give Liberty Athletics, go straight back to the kids in the program. We've done a lot of things in the locker room. We've done a lot of things in the field house, out at the stadium, and in the weight room. So we'll continue to look to try to do that.
I heard, Coach, that if you look good, you play good, and those uniforms, they look so good.
Yeah, the kids are excited about them. We have another set too that we'll bust out probably once we start district, but we have some nice gear. So.
All right, Coach, last thing, probably going to ask you every single week, if there's a message that you could give the fans, what's the message this week?
Messages, come out and support. I think you're going to have a fun game. Hopefully we'll come away with a win. So.
All right, you've been watching the pregame show with head coach Chris Lackey and Joe Roberts. Coming up next is Concordia Lutheran and the Liberty Panther home opener. We'll see you at halftime.